Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today is October 31st. It's Halloween of 2024. And today on our call, we have the CEO, Scott McFabe from BluMetric Environmental. BluMetric trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol BLM, and it also trades on the OTC under BLMWF. The company is currently trading at 85 cents with about 31 million shares outstanding, or about a $27 million market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. Scott, great to have you back. I went and checked, and it looks like it was about a year ago the last time we had you on here. And anybody who was listening at that time and bought stock are pretty happy today. Stock was around 25 to 30 cents at the time. We're now sitting around 85 cents. So congratulations on fantastic stock performance. We had you at the conference here recently. A lot of the attendees thought you were one of the names that stood out, so that's great. But we're here to get an update and love to get onto that. But before that, for all those members that are relatively new to the story, maybe let us know what BluMetric's all about, and then we can get on to some updates.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for having us back. Truly appreciate being part of your the presentations here, and also for everybody who's invested in us, we obviously appreciate that as well, and we're happy that it's turning out the way that it is. It's what we're in business to do, and so more of that hopefully in the future, and we can talk a little bit about this being the presentation that was given at the microcap showcase here at the end of September just this year. So the company as a whole, just a bit of a primer. This business is a result of a reverse takeover that happened about 12 years ago in that range between a professional services organization and a clean tech, water tech business. And I was brought in about 7 years ago to turn it around. It hadn't integrated, it wasn't focused. Great bones in the business, but just needed somebody to come in and cut through the fog and focus on running a business, impressing upon the organization the need to run in such a way that we stay in the black, we invest in ourselves, we create value, most importantly. And what you hear often from us is, and our mantra is we do meaningful things, we do meaningful work. Our technology is needed and meaningful, our consulting is needed and meaningful. And so hopefully that comes across in the presentation today. So let me advance this. It's our standard disclaimer. We can't really talk much about forward-looking stuff, but I'll bring you up to speed in terms of where we are today. Okay, I'm going to close this down here 1 second. Yeah. So we're a consulting, but also a clean tech, water tech firm. And we love to get involved looking after our clients' biggest challenges. We're not the biggest in the business, but we want to be the go-to when you have a problem that most can't solve. And we really do a lot of work for our clients in the clean tech industry, really who want to positively impact people in the communities that we live in. So we're very connected in terms of the services and the work that we do within the environments that we live in and work in, both built and natural. So what makes us valuable? We sort of boiled it down to these 5 things. We really are a specialized company that really benefits from global sustainability, lots of water tailwinds in our industry, and lots of military demand. We'll tell you why military is important to us, especially in our technology side of the business. As I said earlier, might be boring, but we like to stay in the black and we like to invest in ourselves. We generate revenue, we generate profit, and we manage our debt very, very carefully. We have a very diverse client base that manages to work us through. It makes us very resilient. When we have downturns, upturns, our 4 key markets really help balance and provide some buoyancy there. Key inflection point for us is due to clean tech growth investments. We really had to look for opportunities for acquisition. We were Since I came, we started about 25 million top line. We got about 35 million-ish. And but it was clear in order to develop the kind of attraction that we need in the investment group, that M&A was going to be part of it. And so we had a robust, still have a robust pipeline of opportunities, but we're very, very selective. As I say, kissed a lot of frogs and said no to many, many candidates, but we found one last May and had worked on it very closely, called Gemini Water. And Gemini is a really nice business based out of North Central Florida in Gainesville. They provide the design and fabrication and installation and operation of clean water technology and wastewater technology, mostly fixed systems. And out of Florida, they do a lot of work in island nations throughout the Caribbean. They're highly known and valued. Also do a lot of work in Florida and Texas, and basically go where their clients need them to be. But if you look at their shop, it'll look almost exactly like our shop up here in Ottawa, where we design, fabricate, and build and execute. Great fit, and also they work in different markets. Our markets that we've focused on here have typically been the military market and mining market, which has a long sales cycle. These folks down in Gemini, they work on mostly government and commercial industrial endeavors. Their clients, as we say, they work more on a stopwatch, and our military clients, they work more on a calendar. And so when you put it all together, it smooths out the sales cycle and also helps us cross-pollinate each other's markets. So it's a really great fit. They are immediately accretive. They didn't have debt. They had cash. They had a great client base. We needed a beachhead in the States. For a little history on me, I'm Canadian, but 24 years in the US and global markets, doing turnarounds and working in the water industry all my career. So I've got about 39 years experience in this business, working in turnarounds, but also in the water industry. So I moved back from Chicago to come here up to Ottawa to have more fun with BluMetric. Really, our goal, number 5, is to increase recurring revenues. Our client retention is over 92%, and a lot of sticky services that provide us a really nice recurring revenue stream. We are a Canadian company, but now we're significantly larger expansion, and now we've got to reach into the US. So that acquisition closed on the 24th of September, which was just before we attended the MicroCap conference in Vancouver. So it was great timing. By the numbers, we've done a lot of work in water projects in Canada. We've got many systems, 82 up and running. We focus a lot on agile systems, which means these are systems for the Department of National Defense that either for their Army deployment on land or at sea with large ships. We have sea-based systems as well that are inside of the Royal Canadian Navy ships. We have about 200, now it's actually about 230 people when you add Gemini. Before we had 10 offices, you'd include in now the states. So I'll give you an update there. We have a 13,000 square foot manufacturing facility here just outside of Ottawa. Top line around 35 million in revenues and about 1.7 million EBITDA for 2023. So this is just to give you an idea of where we do principally most of our work before with Gemini. The stars are our office locations, and the size of the circles are the size of revenue we generate in different parts of the country. So we work coast to coast, and we have really nice distribution of offices, but head offices here in Ottawa, and our manufacturing facilities just outside of Ottawa on the Carp. So what's driving our clean tech, our water tech expansion? Really, there's growth in our professional services side, but really we have what we call mission-ready water. These are deployable systems that are agile. You can pick them up, you can deliver them, you can bring them into some kind of a post-apocalyptic, sadly say, system where you have to bring in new water or all the systems are down. So a lot of emergency response, but also for military deployment. Really, that brings in a higher share of recurring revenue with our systems because we support what we sell. And we partner with military contractors with access to NATO countries. Our systems have NATO parts numbers on them, so we are actually registered to be able to support any NATO nation. Faster. There. So specialized clean tech, water tech platform. This is the mission ready water stuff we're talking about. Potable water and wastewater systems. These are containerized systems. Also profitable business model. I mentioned we like to stay in the black and invest in ourselves. Over 40 years of proven experience. This is not a startup company. This is the combination of two very well established companies that have now been focused and de-risked and run like a proper business. And so strong bookings for clean tech orders. Definitely, we've got a great backlog right now for the company combined, well over $50 to $60 million worth of work in the books as we speak. We're unique in Canada as a traded company because 25% of publicly listed companies in Canada are profitable. We happen to be one of them. We have this dual business model. Right now, the distribution of our revenue that we generate with Gemini is 50-50, 50% professional services, 50% water tech, clean tech. We are definitely the trusted advisors for many billion-dollar multinational companies. And we're a diversified player in growing markets as well, like military and mining. So here's our 4 key markets. Along the top, commercial, industrial, government, military, and mining. And along the left side, professional services, clean tech, water systems. Those are the 2 business units. And you can see, where we've done a lot of work over the years, professional services, kind of across the board. But in terms of our water tech systems, it was all military and mining. Bringing Gemini in crosses the other 2 markets we really need access to that are quick book and burn, profitable deliver markets for us. So in terms of the water tech side of the business, when you put it all together, it's a perfect fit. You've got long sales cycle, larger contracts, military mining. You've got short sales cycle, very profitable commercial, industrial, government type work. An example of a government type project, Gemini is kicking off a new desal system for the island nation of St. Kitts. Is to add 40% the capacity of all clean water to the island, about 2 million gallons per day. They're installing that as we speak. And that represents at least $9 to $10 million worth of backlog we need to deliver just on that project with Gemini this fiscal year. So I'll give you an idea of the size of the business. And then the distribution of revenues along the bottom in terms of percentage. It's fairly even. Now certainly a little bigger with government and commercial industrial. How do we do it? Well, we're a fatally client-focused business, and we have this flywheel drives new innovations. We work very, very closely with our clients, especially on the water tech side of the business, to understand their challenges or a different field of view where we can apply our technologies. So we can be out with them, helping them operate, helping them tweak and improve our systems as they deploy on a mission. And as you can imagine, the broader the opportunity or a setting in which you can operate, the better it is for your client. And so that's really pushed us in places and found ways for us to optimize our systems really directly with our clients. And what that produces is an immediate to-market result that we're constantly improving on. So it's a really big part of how we operate. We really like to stay close with our clients, listen hard, and improve as a result of their needs, not our perceived needs. We talk about mission-ready water. On the far left, that's a large land-based system that the Army's been using for 20 years. We build those right from scratch. We also refurbish them as well. They bring them in, we tear them down, we send them out. They look as good or better than new with new tech in them. So again, it is a sticky business whereby that we can continue to improve and support our clients. We had about a $5 million first tranche of these units come in the spring, and we're still working on them and looking for more in the near future. Second to the left, that's more of our smaller system that we're working on now. It's a portable system we're doing with Rheinmetall. Rheinmetall is a German technology integrator. They're taking our technology, putting it in basically a smaller box for easier deployment. This is a contract we won with them about a year ago for the federal government of Canada. We have one unit that's just about done field trials, should be ready to go for production in very short order here. We have to produce 20 of them as well as the first unit. That is work that's sold. That is work that's on our backlog ready to burn. And we should be hard into the production and delivery of those systems by the end of this calendar year, early next year. And then the other two from the The left here, the one is working on smaller systems again to see the need and the market opportunities for even smaller kits like handheld kits for small missions or mining operations. But we're always looking for ways to make these agile systems really deployable and redeployable. So supported by long-term industry trends, again, lots of environmental regulations drive what we do. This is not a nice to do, this is a need to do business. Water scarcity is definitely worsening globally. Global tensions driving the military spend, which feeds well into our military water market. Critical minerals for energy transition, we play in that. It kind of stalls, but we're still involved and we have opportunities there. Technology shift towards agile systems, the smaller, more mobile systems definitely play well into the redevelopment of Ukraine and places like that where they have no grid, no systems. So we're looking into that as well. And then North American infrastructure spending, our systems are perfect backups or contingency systems for when the grid's down or when the next hurricane comes through and knocks everything out. Dan and I just came back from Gainesville right after the second hurricane hit. And fortunately for us in Gainesville and our people in Gainesville, they were spared mostly from the hurricanes, but it was pretty sad to see all the FEMA trailers running around, a lot of people displaced and up in north central Florida, just waiting to see what they're going back to. But while we were there, FEMA was inquiring and curious about does Gemini have systems like the ones that we actually developed for the military? And now they can say yes where they said no before. So plenty of opportunity there. Here's the kind of clients we work with. Certainly not all encompassing, but the point I'm trying to make here is we don't work with, we have a great client base, I should say. We spent the last 7 years saying goodbye to a lot of mom and pop clients and saying the need to improve our client base with these kind of sustainable clients that value our value proposition, appreciated value proposition. A couple of case studies you may remember about 2 years ago at Christmas, Iqaluit's water supply was completely shut down. And really the reason it was shut down was because all of their electricity is diesel generated. So the water supply was contaminated with diesel. 3 of our systems were shipped up to the edge of the sea and the military operated them in -40 Celsius to produce all the clean water for the city of Iqaluit until the problem was fixed. We have never in 20 years missed a mission in terms of the deployability or the quality of our systems to be able to produce clean water. They stay up and operate. We also do, this is a mine effluent treatment plant. We often get compared to companies that do this kind of work like BQE perhaps, or even H2O Innovations. We go up and we operate the system that treats all mine water for the giant mine of Yellowknife. We have an operation up there, an office up there. So the large program managers hire us to do the work because we haven't forgotten how to do the work. And so these are like long 3-year, 4-year contracts. And ever since we put our hands on this site, we produce new records in terms of the quality of effluent and the ability to produce enough clean water to be able to operate the mine unencumbered. Leadership team. This is not a young group. This is an established, experienced group. Saying that, I've been in this business 39 years. Dan Hilton's our CEO or CFO. He's been around, 35 years in that range. Wayne Ingham, Andy Benson, that's business development and director of operations. They've been all 25 plus, 30 plus years. Corey Switzer is our young star for Clean Tech, Water Tech. Been with the company over 13 years, and Lydia Renton, corporate occupational health and safety, over 40 years of experience and basically a global resource. So it's a very established, very experienced management team that I'm trying to get across. Same with our board. Ian Moore McDonald, our chair, he's a banker. Has been around the business a while. He's been with us at least 3 years. Ian Murray McDonald's been with our company 40 years plus. Wanda Richardson's used to this business. She's worked for AECOM and other large consultancies. Dr. Dave Rudolph actually is a professor at University of Waterloo that taught both Ian Murray McDonald and myself the business of water consulting years ago. And so David is on our board now, and we're delighted because he is an internationally renowned water expert. A very strong balance sheet, definitely positioned to fund our growth. Recently, the acquisition of Gemini was all done on our own steam, basically working with cash in hand and working with BMO to extend our current credit line, which we hadn't been in for years, to be able to fund the acquisition. And so all that was done with us, by us, and a little support from BMO. If you look at stability and revenues, really, it's not huge growth on the top line, but it's quality growth on the top line. We've been improving our quality of our client base and improving our profitability as we move forward. But again, it was time for us to do an acquisition, and that's exactly what we did. How are we going to grow revenue? Really, our higher quality of book of business. Definitely push on our new agile water systems, as Mission Ready Water is definitely in demand and it's getting global attention. And that leads us to expansion outside of Canada on the demand of our clients. And then strategic consulting and technology acquisitions will continue to steady on and produce a really nice revenue base for us to build on. Here's Gemini, 27 systems, 7 million gallons per day in the water treatment capacity. They've done work all through the Caribbean, as I mentioned, but this is their business. You know, they're about, this is in US dollars, about 7.3 million top line last year, EBITDA over 10%. Our purchase was initial cash of $3 million worth of shares and a little over 1 million earnout by their rainmakers, so about $5 million acquisition. But as I said, immediately accretive. The kind of work they do are more fixed systems, kind of things that you would find. Their client base are the large resorts and communities in the island nations, but also a lot of the big development in Texas and abroad, where you're dealing with having to develop specific systems that are private for expansion because municipal services have no capacity. And so it's again, this is the kind of stuff that they do. So why did we do this acquisition? It's pretty clear, hopefully, to those on the call, but really it diversifies our clean tech base. Our customer base needed to diversify. Now we have all four covered. Complementary IP and experience, very similar technologies deployed in a slightly different way. And we really needed to have a U.S. manufacturing facility to get a beachhead into the U.S. market, which we now have. Let's see. Pro forma revenue, we just said how would it look to add Gemini onto our books as we currently stand, and it's nicely accretive, and it presents a nice trajectory going forward. We've only just started to see how Gemini is going to produce and add to our business. We have a pretty good idea, but we're not going to really be able to see and measure and report out those results until the end of our first quarter, because we did close at the very end of our fiscal year, which is the end of September. So you're not going to see the results of Gemini until we report out into mid-February in terms of Q1 for this fiscal year. Cap structure around 30 million. Outstanding shares. Management owns about 6.7%, plus external for insiders and other employees who are original founders in the company adds up to about 40% internal ownership. And you can see this is a little dated slide, but it gives you an idea of the trend. But I'd like you to remember, we are specialized, definitely coming from the opportunities of global sustainability, water tailwinds, military demand. It all adds up into a build on our business. We run a business here. Yes, we're publicly traded, but we run a business. Stay in the black, and we focus on profitable growth. Really, this proven diversified customer base gives us resiliency in downturns. 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4 markets usually are doing very well, while the other 2 are either flat or returning. Key inflection point for clean tech growth, definitely when we acquired Gemini. Now we've got the kind of balance and revenue we've been looking for and growth thereafter. Our recurring revenue base is going to increase as we continue to build a stronger foundation on supporting what we sell. And this Canadian company, which is really operated mostly in Canada or where our clients need us worldwide, is now significantly larger expansion opportunities in the US market, which we absolutely needed. And that is the presentation, guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Scott. Reminder to everybody, if you've got questions you'd like me to ask Scott and the team, just feel free to use the chat function and I'll ask that question. A great job in presentation there, Scott. So it sort of limits some of the questions I was going to ask because you answered them already in advance. This Gemini acquisition, like what does this? I guess the question is like pipeline. Are you interested in more M&A right now, or is this going to keep you busy for a long enough time? How do we look at that?
Well, I've been involved with M&A for a long time, and I've seen it done well, and I've seen it done really poorly. And what my takeaway from seeing it done really poorly is when you buy somebody who has a lot of overlap, and you're counting on cuts to be able to produce the kind of outcome you need, everybody's upset, your friends go away. It's not a good situation. It's nothing to count on. That is not part of the scheme at all. There is no overlap geographically or services or otherwise. The other is when you forget about what you just bought and you don't take the time to properly integrate it, and you're just on to the next shiny penny. I think that's a huge mistake, which we will not make. That being said, we're already into integration. We're working with them in terms of systems, in terms of supporting what they need. They're the classic private entrepreneurial-based organization that just needs support. They were always super lean. They had no back office. Now they have the support of a back office. Now they have the support of different things that they didn't have before in terms of recruitment and such. We provide all of that. And so the hope is, like most entrepreneurs, they typically don't overdrive their headlights, so they won't sell more than they can absolutely do. Well, they're tucked into a small facility right now. It might be 10,000 square feet. We're in the process of negotiating for a new manufacturing facility down there that's 25,000 square feet so that they could build out and grow into it and really hit the gas in terms of growth on that market and what else we can do in the States and abroad. So as well, we also have our pipeline, and we can forget, we're always working our pipeline. We're always looking for that great fit. We're always keeping our eye on opportunities as we go. But we're very, very selective. Like I said, this took us a couple of years to really find the one that we wanted. And now we're really confident that it was the right decision. And now it makes integration and everything else go much better. So I think that's how we're going to realize the benefits of Gemini pretty quickly. And then the last part is that we want to respect their business. The last thing I want is for them to feel like they've been bought, they've been integrated, they're owned by somebody else. It's a whole different world. The goal here is to say, you know, we really are part of the team. You're all part of, you know, BluMetric now, but your name recognition in the States is Gemini. It's not BluMetric, and we have to respect that. We have to build, you know, our name down there. So it will be Gemini Water, a division of, and then we're going to take very close steps to make sure we grow respectfully and take advantage of what's in front of us down there. And then we'll see how it goes.
Beautiful, beautiful. A couple questions have come in right now. Why don't we ask them? One is in regards to, I guess, just the makeup of sort of the operations of the business. Question is, does increase of employees equal increase in revenues? Or I guess maybe either way, like how labor intensive is what you do?
Well, in terms of the professional services side, you're selling solutions by the hour. So more people, more revenue. Unless you're doing a guaranteed fixed price project, which can be kind of risky, but sometimes we do them if we're confident, and that just becomes a delivery issue or a challenge. In terms of fabrication, yes, you've got to constantly be looking for and bringing in the right trades and talent to be able to produce your tech. And so we have two internal recruiters actually on staff that are constantly looking for new people to add. But it's not as the scalable, the step changes you can realize are really on the technology side of the business. That's where we're going to see our big growth is going to come from that aspect of what we do. But that's not to say that the professional services side isn't valuable, because it gives us a solid, steady base of revenue and profit. And it also provides us the kind of engineers and technologists and scientists that feed into the improvement of the solutions that we develop on the technology side.
Yeah, and Yeah, I mean, that's what I recognize. It sounds like Gemini is really adding on that technology that allows you to scale even faster than you did before, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a big
fantastic.
part of it.
Fantastic. Now maybe let's talk a little bit about the competitive landscape. What do your competitors look like? Obviously, I imagine there's some that are significantly bigger, but what do they look like, and where do you take advantage of it?
Well, on the, say up here on the military side, for water tech in Canada, we don't see much competition. It comes from overseas. And so that gives us a competitive advantage when we're looking for, to compete for work here with the Army or the Navy. So that part is good. We're considered the Department of National Defense's water experts. South of the border, they haven't done really any military work because they were so focused on the systems that they were developing for island nations. There's just a little technical background. What happens is you've got an island in the middle of the ocean in salt water, and below that island is a bubble of fresh water from infiltration from rain. Well, the demand on that water only increases, and with global climate change, the amount of water that gets in the ground is less because those rain events are violent. There's a lot of runoff. There's not a lot of recharge. So as global climate change increases, you have saltwater intrusion. So their wells are going from fresh water to brackish water to salt water very quickly. So that's St. Kitts' story, but it's every island story in the Caribbean or island nations right now. And we think we've got a great reputation, especially that with Gemini, they're very well known. And a lot of those places, they don't particularly, they're more relationship based, right? And these people have been known for a long time. Like the leader down there lived on Tortola he raised his family on Tortola, like we'd all love to. But now he's in Gainesville, but he's known, and that reputation fits well with that market. The big systems, we're not going to go after the city of Houston. We're not going to go after, Corpus Christi. We're not going to go after Miami. That's for, the big engineering companies. They can knock themselves out on that, even the Veolias and such. But for us, it's kind of that optimum contract size, $10 to $20 million is nice for us. And we can do that well. We can execute it well, and still have the same kind of personal touch with the clients that they appreciate.
Let's talk a little bit about sort of financials, maybe future financials. You're a profitable company, one of the few out there. We agree with you. There's not a lot of companies that are profitable in the Canadian public markets. But as you go forward here and your cash starts to build up, how do you look to allocate capital? Like what is the goal here with excess cash?
Well, excess cash is a great problem to have, but it's been my bane because the market's rightly have said, that's great, McFabe, you're profitable, but now what, right? And so the now what is Gemini. And then the next now what is, what else can we do to take advantage of the position we have down there that we're just scratching the surface on? The market is incredible in its opportunities, and expansion is inevitable. So the likelihood of us looking to expand what we're doing down in the States is very high. And the nice thing too is we sold that, I believe we sold that acquisition on the basis of our culture. Okay, there were 6 other suitors to buy that company, but we have a gravity to BluMetric where we really want to make sure that when you come into the organization, you stay and you thrive. And you not only thrive as good as you did, you should thrive better than you could have, because now you're part of a bigger enterprise. There's a lot of smaller companies down there that are very specialized, that do high quality work and have high quality tech and a great book of business, that don't want to be with those big firms. They'd rather be with a company like us. And I think when already what we've seen is Gemini is recognized and respected and appreciated. There are many others, I think, like Gemini, that would rather be with us than the big firms. And I think that's part of our strategy, is being a really good host. We're not a consolidator. We're going to distill the market and get the best of the best of the best. And then that should be our brand.
Scott, what challenges do you face? What sort of keeps you up at night right now?
What keeps me up at night? People. Always people. We talk technology, but people come up with the technology, they improve the technology, they build the technology, they service the technology. We're very specific about the people that we want to bring into the organization, and we definitely want to keep them. And so we spend a lot of time in terms of recruitment and recognition, reward. We want to make sure we're very, competitive within the markets that we work within, to have a gravity to bring the best practitioners to us. And so we spend a lot of time recruiting. We spend a lot of time evaluating the people that we bring into the organization, and we want to keep our best. But there's no question, everyone would love our best. And so you're constantly making sure that you do everything you can to take care of your people. And it's maybe my curse or my blessing, but I really do want everyone in the organization to flourish and advance and do well and be taken care of. And so if you live like that, the pressure is on me and others to make sure that you lead by example, you take care of your people, you do what you say you're going to do, and you walk the talk, and you stay connected. And as we get bigger, that's harder to do. That's just the way it is.
Scott, apparently there's an election going to be held next week down in the States. Do you see that having an impact on your business one way or the other?
Well, fortunately for us, water doesn't care whether you're red or blue. Without it for 3 days, you're dead. So it's not as if it's a nice to have. Everybody needs it. But I also think that there's no way we could be successful in the States if we didn't have a beachhead. Whichever way it went. And now that we have that, at least we know we can operate properly in country and take advantage of and service the American market now. But even post the election, whichever way it goes, I don't think it's going to be easier for Canadians to work in the States. I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny in terms of making sure that it is America first, whether it's Trump style or whether it's Democrat style. And so it's going to be more than interesting times. But I guess the comfort I take is the people we work with down there and the clients we work with and the problems that we're solving for them, they really is not a political problem. It's really about, we need this solved. We like you folks. You really do seem to care about us. You're going to provide a solution to our problem. You're going to take care of us going forward. And then, by the way, who did you vote for?
Yeah, gotcha. You're right. I mean, it's politics aside, water is pretty important here. And clearly, I mean, this is an issue that's growing in importance because whether it's climate change or almost, more people moving into certain areas, there's just more demand for obviously for clean water. So I think you're right. I think it's irrelevant of politics. Scott, as investors, we're watching your business right now. Where do you think it pays the most attention, or where should we pay the most attention to really understand how the business is doing?
I would say, first and foremost, we have to successfully integrate and execute flawlessly our most recent merger. And Gemini needs to demonstrate that they are doing as well or better with us, with our support, while at the same time not losing the fact that there's a whole book of business and a whole group of people that got us here in the first place that can't be overlooked. And so we have to retain our people. We have to grow our top line in a way that's meaningful. And we have to find ways to execute on work that Gemini wouldn't do otherwise unless they had our help. And I think when you put all that together, we averaged around 35 million, and that's kind of capacity for where we were before Gemini. But we've got a clear line of sight to 50 million now with them and what we have in the books and where we need to go. And then I think what's going to happen too is with, we got a lot of interest in the US. And so that's one of the reasons we pushed hard on our OTCQX listing to make sure that people can get access and trade there too. And so there's a lot more eyes on us. I mean, the first time, we were kind of joking, the first time that we'd ever given a presentation in public about BluMetric, the investment community, was to you in Vancouver this September.
All right.
So shame on me that, here we are, some best kept secret for no good reason, except we've been so focused on tightening bolts and running a better company and solving problems and de-risking things. The company has no lawsuits right now, not one issue that way. Our clients are good clients. Our people are just fantastic. And I think the future for them and others looks great. And that should translate into a terrific outcome for our investors, of which I am one. And one of the other questions that often comes up is when's McFabe going to invest? And I need to address that today. It's a great opportunity to do that too. And that when you're as involved as I am in the business and having to be up to this point, especially, I'm always in blackout if I'm ethical.
Mhm.
I know everything that's going right. I know everything that's not going right needs to get fixed. I know where the numbers are headed, and I've had to do that. But less and less as I surround myself with more capable people like Dan Hilton and others who are just terrific adds to the business. But I find myself this week finally not in blackout. So I have invested in the company. So keep an eye on SETI. You'll see that McFabe has put some money down in a meaningful way, because I too want to realize the benefit of investing in this company early and taking it where it needs to go.
Nothing speaks louder than insiders buying, so that's fantastic. And listen, I want to congratulate you as well. It's usually the other way around. A Canadian company buying an American entity. I like to see a little more of that rather than the other way around right now. So congratulations on that. Scott, sort of just last question is really open-ended. Is there anything that we missed today? Any other message you want to make sure everybody walks away with today?
I think really what I put to my leadership is stay humble, work hard, keep the main thing, and deliver on your promises. Our goal should be promises, and ours is a business of contingencies, not excuses. And I think if you work hard at that, you can create the kind of outcomes that our shareholders deserve. But the best one of all, a takeaway, is from an old friend of mine who's a partner, is Australian, and his was, today's rooster's tomorrow's feather duster. So you're on the phone, you're talking to or you're on a call here, and everybody's excited about 85 cents, as we are too. It's a new high.
Sure.
But we haven't achieved what we need to achieve yet. And I've seen ups and downs too. Mm-hmm. It won't change how we operate, but we're grateful with what got us to here, and we're excited about what's going to get us to our next step, which we believe is really good for us in our investment community.
Right on. Well, listen, congratulations on a great year so far. I know it doesn't all happen at once, a long time coming, but congratulations on the progress so far. We've been speaking with CEO Scott McFabe, BluMetric Environmental, symbol BLM on the Venture Exchange. Scott, great to catch up, and certainly look forward to catching up in the near future.
Thank you. I hope to see you in Las Vegas. We'll be there.
We'll work on it. You bet.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye now.